Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have been a little lazy with my makeup lately. Some might even say a lot lazy, and that's okay because I have found my current go-to favorite lazy makeup look. One that takes hardly any time, definitely no thought, and honestly, it's perfect for any occasion because perfect for any occasion makeup is very subjective to who you are and what you think is perfect. Would I wear this going out somewhere at night? Yeah, maybe, depending on how I feel. I don't want to take a lot of time because the end result is just feeling like I'm put together. That I feel a little woken up, a little bit covered, but not a lot. And the main point is that it doesn't take long. Now, this is going to take a little bit longer today because I'm talking through it, but I have timed it. And it takes me no more than 10 minutes to do this. And quite honestly, the bulk of that is like my brows and priming my eyes, which I've already done. I'm going to tell you what I used, but that takes like 3 minutes, maybe a little bit more. If you're lucky and have brows, which I do not, and don't have to do the extensive painting on of the brow every day, then this could take you 5 minutes or more. Will tell you really quickly that I used my normal Jane Iredale brow pencil. I used the shade Ash Blonde, and then I used a little bit of this e.l.f. I don't even know if they still make this anymore. It is their brow powder palette, and I really only use this third shade right here, which you can tell because some major pan has been hit on it, and I don't even know what shade. Oh, here we go, taupe. I was gonna say I don't know what shade, but taupe. So those are the two items that I use on my brows. And every day to prime my eyes, I use my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. My favorite shade to do that is Honey, but I'm currently using Creme Brulee because the last time I purchased it, they were out of Honey. And then I set that with my Jane Iredale Pure Press Base in Ivory. So that is all that I've done so far, except my SPF, which to me is part of this look. So I am going to cut away to me applying this in just a second, but this has become my favorite SPF to wear on either completely no makeup days, like I'm leaving the house like this, because this to me is no makeup. I still do my brows and I still prime my eyes, and then I will put nothing else on. That is a no makeup day to me. But also on days where I am doing this look, because of the finish that it gives to my skin and how I feel like it's very blurring, it is glowy as you can see. However, when I cut away, you're gonna see that it's way more glowy when I first apply it. As it sets down into the skin, it becomes just this really kind of radiant skin finish, very, very blurring. This is probably the most blurring SPF I have, and it's from RMS, and it's their Super Natural Radiant Serum, which I have talked about and even used on camera before. But I have two shades now. They sent me light, and I purchased medium, and I mixed the two. I do not often recommend mixing SPFs. However, if they are the exact same SPF like this is, just in different shades, it's fine. So I will do, as you see in the demo, I will do kind of a finger length of each and mix them together and apply to the skin. And the reason I do this is because the medium just gives a little bit more warmth to the skin. However, the light is perfectly fine on its own for me, but you can see it's super, super, super dewy on the skin. And I've had it on now for probably about an hour, so it does settle down to be a little less radiant. But this is kind of like a foundation step for me in this look, so I did want to mention that. And then of course, I followed up with my very last step of my City Beauty Line Blurring Wrinkle Filler under my eyes, which is still something I use every single day and cannot sing the praises enough about. It is just so good under my eyes and underneath concealer. I just can't be without. Especially when it's been 5 months like it has since I've gotten Botox and my under eyes look a little needy at the moment. I am going to not use a corrector today because it's a lazy girl makeup day and I just don't want to take the time. So if that is the case, I will pick a concealer that not necessarily has fuller coverage, but has a different tone to it. Something that has maybe a little bit of a corrector tone built into it. I'm gonna use the Sisley because it does have that kind of added corrector tone to it. So really, I'm just applying this like I would apply it as a concealer. The only difference is I don't have any corrector underneath it. And that's okay, you know? even though technically the darkness under my eyes could say it is in need of a corrector every day, I don't have to have a corrector every day. I really don't. I like to, because I do have severe darkness, but it's not always necessary. So that did brighten up my eyes, took away some of the darkness. I'm gonna set it per usual with my Ilia powder, because whether or not it's a like very fast makeup day, if I'm wearing concealer, I'm setting it. For me personally, it's just something I have to do because I make a lot of expressions when I talk. There is not a single concealer in the world that I have tried that does not crease if it is not set in place. And I know a lot of people will not agree with that and say, oh no, but I use this concealer and it, you know, I don't have to powder it and it doesn't crease and it sets down. I promise you, I've probably tried it and it just doesn't work for me, and that's okay. If you have found something that you don't have to use powder, that's fabulous. But the Ilia powder works so well under my eyes that it doesn't bother me that I have to use it. Now, I have mentioned this in the past that on fast days, I do like to use some kind of powder, but I like to choose one that maybe has a little bit more coverage and also has a little bit of a darker undertone than I would normally wear, because I'm gonna skip bronzer. And when I skip bronzer, I like to have a warmth to my skin to where I really don't notice that I don't have it on, because it is one of my favorite parts of a makeup routine. I just really love what bronzer does for the skin, but it is definitely not always needed. I recently picked this up with a 20% off coupon at Ulta. It is not new. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's very old, but I had never tried it before. And it's the Laura Mercier Smooth Finish Foundation Powder. And I have already put a big gouge in it with my nail because that's how I do. This is in the shade 2-in-1. I really had a hard time picking online what color would work. This works, but again, it is a little bit warmer and a little bit darker. So it's a good powder for me to pick in this step when I'm not gonna wear bronzer. So I'm gonna use my Lawless multi-use powder brush, one of my favorite brushes to use with any kind of powder foundation, and just stipple that into the skin. So you can see it takes down the shine of that SPF, but not completely. It's still there, still looks like skin. I'm not going to try to build this up for extra coverage. I'm really just using it more as a setting powder for the SPF versus a foundation powder. Here's a tip, don't wear white. I've already got it on my shirt. So another thing that I like to do when I'm skipping bronzer is choosing a blush that has a little bit of a bronzy undertone to it. So I'm still giving my face a little bit of color, which is the point of a blush, but it's neutral and it can kind of pass as both. And for that, I have been loving to use my RMS Redimension Hydra Powder Blush, which y'all know is one of my favorites, in the shade Maiden's Blush. As you can see, this is a very neutral bronzy tone. If you look really close, it's like a bronzy, rosy tone, but to me, it can really pass as both. So I still apply it where I apply blush, but I'm just a little laissez-faire about it. Like I'm not as precise as if I were wearing a separate, you know, bronzer and highlight, and I'll take, you know, whatever's left and put it on the temples. Here's another reason I like this blush, because it does have a little bit of a sheen to it, definitely not shimmer, but you can see that it added a little bit of sheen to my cheeks, which makes me not feel the need to put on a separate highlight. So this really is like a blush, highlight, bronzer in one. And that's it for the complexion. That's all I'm doing for the face, doing something very, very, very fast for the eyes, and that is only using an eyeliner. For those of y'all who've been watching me for a very long time, do you remember when I would never use an eyeliner? I wouldn't even use eyeshadow to line my eyes. I was like completely against it. I just didn't think it looked right on me. Oh, how things can change and evolve. And if you've been watching my channel recently, you know that one of my very favorite eyeliners is the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner. I talked about Cinnamon in a recent Get Ready With Me, which is this gorgeous bronzy brown cinnamony shade. And I purchased 2 more shades. I have had Cocoa in my kit for years and love it. This is the shade Copper, which is exactly that, a very pretty copper shade. And then I also got Bordeaux. Now the reason I love these so much is because they are very easy to use and apply, and you do have some playtime with them. That is Bordeaux. Ooh, which one do I want to use today? I'm not going to use cinnamon because I've used that before. I'm going to use both. And it doesn't matter what eyeliner this is with. I do suggest it being one that you do have a little bit of playtime with, something that maybe has satin in the name like this, or a kohl liner, like the MAC kohl liners have a little bit of playtime before they set. Because what I do is I just, you know, roughly line the top, and then I will take some kind of brush. They do have a smudger in the liner itself, but I like using a brush and just smudging that out just like that to give a little bit of a smoky effect. I really like this shade. So in case you're wondering, if you don't have Bordeaux, but you've been like looking at it, because it is like a, you know, a little bit of a red shade, red wine shade. I still don't think it is enough to like make you look sick, personally. Now, inevitably, there'll be someone in the comments saying, oh, I think you look sick with that color. But for me, I don't think so. And then basically doing the exact same thing on the lower lash line. And this is when I'm going to use copper. And I typically only take it about 1/3 to a halfway in. And I'll use the same brush that I used on the top and just kind of smoke that out. I really want to try the olive, I think it might be called olive green one in this line. And then Fig also looks really pretty. So that's all I'm going to do for eyes. No eyeshadow, no nothing like that. Now I'm going to take a lash curler and I'm going to change up a little bit how I do my mascara on a day like today. But first I'm going to use my Pixi Silky Eye liner in the waterline. This would also be a good liner to use on the top because again, it has some playtime to smudge it out, but when it sets, it sets. I always use black, and you can probably see a difference about how it just makes the lash line look so much thicker when you use some kind of liner in your waterline. I have used this one for years. I can't even tell you how many I've gone through. And the way I'm changing up mascara is that I'm not putting any on the bottom lash line because it just makes everything look a little bit fresher. And when I have, you know, a more subtle face, I just feel like it matches more. B, I'm not using a mascara primer because again, I want fast. And C, I'm using a brown mascara because again, when I'm using minimal makeup, sometimes black can just be a little harsh. I love a brown mascara. Love it so much. This one, y'all, is a mascara that absolutely will not come off of your lashes. In fact, I had to buy the separate remover made from the same brand in order to comfortably remove it at the end of the night. It works wonders. And since I've gotten that remover, I love using this. This is from Heroine Make. I believe this is possibly Japanese beauty. I got it from Stylevana, and this is the Long Up Mascara, super waterproof in the shade brown. It has just a normal kind of curled wand. It does have some little fibers in it that I can see. The main reason that I love this mascara other than the shade is the fact that it absolutely goes nowhere and it will hold your curl until you decide to remove it. And again, having a mascara that just really holds that curl all throughout the day gives your eyes that very wide open, awake look and is very fresh and goes with this kind of makeup look. So that's it. Again, not the most volumizing mascara that I own by any means, but it definitely goes with this look. I purchased another one, a backup for me, another one for my teenager, and I got her a remover too in my most recent Stylevana order, which I think is going to be here in a few days, because that child is obsessed with curling her eyelashes. And I told her, I said, you will not feel the need to curl them multiple times a day when you have this mascara. Highly recommend. And then the last thing I'm going to do is some lips. And y'all know, usually on a full face makeup day, I rarely use much more than a gloss or some kind of glossy product. And I'm just going to pop on one of the Fit Glow serums. This is in the shade Nice, just to give it a little bit of color, but also some sheen and moisture to the lips. So that's it. That is my super lazy girl, very easy makeup look that I can't seem to stop doing lately. I will have all of the products listed down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.